Hello everyone, this is Toxic again. Um, I'm going to try and keep these fairly quick and simple. I got the question, what is a kit? Yes, and that is a perfectly valid and okay question to ask because honestly, I do not remember going through that in the tutorial at all. I just kind of had to figure it out myself. If they did go over it in the tutorial, I don't remember. So, a kit is basically the equipment of your soldiers. So, if I you need to repair them occasionally because they will degrade. If you look in this drop menu for my Iron Cap Spearman, you'll see that status 93 out of 100. That is actually their kit health. How damaged their personal equipment is. So you go in here and I've had a lot of people run into that their kits they simply ran out of kits for their units and they didn't know what to do. Now I have kits already for these guys. So I just go in here, I hit resupply, and I'm all good. Now if I go to another unit, I like my Demesne Spearmen, I do not own kits for these guys. I can replenish their kits for bronze. And, uh, that's not too big of a deal with these little guys, these lower tier units. But when you get up into like the 4.5 stars, even like my 3.5 star squires, they can get very pricey to replenish their kits. Because I replace 6 kits, that's 10,000 bronze right there. Now, another way you can do things is you can build kits. And you can do that over at the unit weaponsmith. I'll go over there real quick. Another option, which I'll discuss in a minute, is buying kits from the market or from the black market. Now, here you can see they have a list of kits. Now, some kits have very basic building materials, and you can build them, and then some have, they have different building materials, but once you start getting up in here, they require more and more exotic materials. And it just keeps getting more and more exotic until it keeps at epic grade materials even when you get really far down the line. But those materials require some very exotic building materials. And to get those materials to build your kit, you go over to the refinery overseer. And you can make your building materials out of any grade of the raw resource. So even if I have fine cotton, I will still be making rough fabric on the uncommon materials tab. The biggest difference is how much fine cotton it takes to make it. So here it takes 6 fine cotton to make 1 rough fabric. If I go to rough cotton, it takes me 10 rough cotton. But it is always the same silver cost. So you have to check and balance. So if you go to rare materials, same thing, except you also need your rare exotic materials. And then you go into epic materials. Still, again, same thing, but now it requires 2 exotic materials, one of them being an epic exotic material. And then you can go through And there's two different kinds of epic fabric, so on and so forth. Some of these, it's just got the one option. Some of them has two, like detailed stone and finished stone. So, no. And you get those materials from the world map, like the limestone quarry. If I went up to that, it would tell me what kind of exotics I could get out of that as well. Now, you can also buy materials off the market and kits. So I'll go around to that. And not all towns have marketplaces, so you can't just walk up to anyone. But you can tell if it's got a marketplace on the world map, if it's got a scales and balances underneath the fief, which these are all NPC towns, not player owned. So you can see these are where all the marketplaces are. Certain things you have to go get. You can buy them at any market in the region, but you might still have to go pick it up. And that's generally, like, if it has a location on it, that is where it is. So you have to go grab it. On the item market, it will directly transfer into your inventory. So you can go to the resource market, not the item market, and then you go to unit kits, and you can select the type. So let's say I am looking for my squires. I can go into the melee inventory, or inventory, not inventory, and go into rare. And then I'm going to start seeing a lot of different kits in here. But normally you will not find Western kits in an Eastern region. So it gets complicated and very expensive bronze-wise. I am in the Eastern region. The squires and all the European-style troops come from the Western region, which is the only place you can craft them. So, I hope that answered your question, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. And I will see you all later.